Hi, it's Phil Binks here. I'm going to just quickly talk about Pantone's colour of the year, and for that matter, really any spot colour that you want to reproduce in a print form. If you get a colour that is in a particular value, like a lab value, and it's unknown, or even any spot colour that you get some values for, you can use pressSIGN to convert those colours into printable values based upon the printing press and the profile for that actual press, which in pressSIGN is called a colour target. So Pantone recently produced this peach fuzz colour and named it the colour of the year. The swatch there shows RGB values, hex values and LAB values, but it doesn't give you a CMYK breakdown. And this is where you can use pressSIGN. So who would use this? Well, the people who would generally need a CMYK breakdown might be preprint designers, where they've got that colour and they need to know what the LAB value is in a printable format. So you'll see later on that the LAB values are slightly different to make it actually even printable. So you get a much more realistic colour based upon a specific profile of press. So that by that I mean, are you printing on matte or glossy in a newspaper, etc., that kind of thing. So you can work all of that out. The other thing is that pre-press people may want to replace the spot colour with CMYK values so that it goes through their printing process quite nicely. And thirdly, you might want to have a look at the values within pressSIGN to see which spot colour book the values are that we're shown here, because those lab values are not going to be in a printable format. So the book that is being used for this is one of the fashion and design books from Pantone. So that's not particularly useful for us. We need to get the CMYK values. But thirdly, let's go back, is to convert those values into a print book spot color. So you'll be able to do that as well. So you'll be able to see later on in this video how you can see which color book from the printing series this is closest to. So pressSIGN, of course, allows you to enter any spot color or spot color values that you might have, and will provide the CMYK breakdown mix based upon the color profile that you want to be printing to. So let's just have a very quick look at that. And the swatch will give you sRGB values, the hex values and the LAB values. Now, the best values that we can use are the LAB values. We're going to find the exact printing values for being able to do this. So let's jump straight into a copy of pressSIGN software. Now, my recommendation to do this is to create a new job. So I'm going to click on the new job button in the corner there, and I'll just put test colors just for our information, and we'll start create. It gives me the ability, if I actually go back to the job settings here, to choose the target standard that we want to get the values for. So let's say that I'm going to go into a CRPC 6 version 2. I'll just click on OK there. So now we can go to the single patches window. So I'll just show you that up in the screen up here. Single patches in the window at the top. So that's what you need to go to do, and once you're in there, you've then got a set of additional tabs that you can use. We're going to enter the values in this area here that I'm circling. So our values, if we go very quickly back, we can see that we've got 83.16, 22.4 and 30.15. So I'm going to enter those into pressSIGN software. And once I've entered those in, if I tab further, you'll actually see, if I zoom in here for you, you'll actually see that the chroma and hue area will be populated as soon as I tab out of this one. So you can see that the lab values are actually set in this area already, and it fills in this box too. And we get a little bit of information here. But what we can do is we can double click on this, and that has the action of putting the information for us into this part of the scene. So we can see the lab value there, and we can refer to that later on if we do that. We can also double click in the name area and type in fuzzy pink, press return, and that just stores that name in there as well. But what we're then going to do is we're going to jump over to this CMYK area. And the CMYK area gives us the ability to enter a lab value down in this area here, and that would then be converted to a CMYK by pressing this arrow just here. So that converts a lab value to CMYK. If you had a CMYK value in here and clicked on the above arrow, that would give you the lab value. Now, the value that we're going to be converting to is shown actually up here in this target area. The other thing that you want to make sure you've got over here, we need to have what you want to use to make the values for you. So I want to use CMYK. We don't need any of these particularly to be in there, but that will give us a black, because it's just thinking we're just going to use 100% of any of these. But what we can then do, if I double click in this line here where it says fuzzy pink, it will then populate the rest of the data that we need. So let me just double click here, and you'll see that it has actually populated this area with our lab value. So this is the fuzzy pink value. This is the fuzzy pink value around the outside. So this was, and it actually shows the LAB value that we entered, 832230. But what pressSIGN has then done is it's converted it to the nearest printable value. And it gives us the breakdown here. It says cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. So it's 25 and 37 of the magenta and yellow. But that equals a lab value, which gives us a delta E of 4.8, and that is shown in the interior area here. That is also highlighted in this line, 25, 30, and it gives you that breakdown there. Now, visually, you may say to yourself, I actually think I'd rather have the third line down. You can choose that if you want to, and this is all based upon a visual assessment of what you've actually got. So you could choose that one or any of the others if you really wanted to. What this line here does is it shows you the breakdown of the colours that are being used to provide that CMYK value. So we've got only magenta and yellow for the best match, the one with a 4.8 delta E. But if we wanted to accept the third line down, we'd actually be using a bit of each of the colours, each of the primary colours, cyan, magenta, yellow and black. So really that's the way that that would work, by simply double clicking in the centre, and that adds to the values that we can then see in this part of the screen. So you can actually see there that we've got the fuzzy pink and the magenta and yellow, and it actually provides the LAB values here as well, plus the delta E value. So it's worth knowing that that's actually there. Okay, so finally, just as a little extra tip, and I didn't want to go on too long, you can go to the spot colour. Peach Fuzz is a colour from the Pantone Fashion Home book, so doesn't have a link directly to the Pantone colour libraries for printing. We could say, well, let's have a look at the printable spot colours we've got in the Pantone library. So if we go to the spot colour, if I go to the selected area and type in the lab value, it will then give me the closest colour it possibly can to those values. We can see that that Pantone value there allows us to see that there's only a delta E of 1.38 if we actually pick a Pantone 155C. Now this is a specialist one, but you'll see that further down in the list, in the Pantone Plus Solid Coated library, it's still a delta E of 2.1, but that's the most likely library that you'll be using. In fact, the version 5, that's the very latest. And you can see a variety of different libraries if you wanted to use those. So that is a very quick way of seeing your colours and what you might be able to use within pressSIGN for the latest colour of the year, the 2024 colour of the year, Peach Fuzz. So thanks for watching. I hope this has been helpful. If you'd like to know any more about how to use pressSIGN, leave a comment down below and leave a like as well. And make sure you subscribe if you are a colour management professional or a pressSIGN user. And thanks for watching. I'll help you again in the near future. Bye for now.